So breaking down what I've already broke down in one of my last videos, Queazy, Swizzy and Merstach landed at the hive, land on the tallest pillar, and they drop down into water because they won't take any fall damage, which ends up being the most minimal time that they spend in the air. And then they go and perform the water pass, getting all the floor and killing any bugs which are getting in their way or just being annoying. So Swizzy does that. Then Merstach is farming materials for surge bases, and so he's got the OXR rifle and 2 veiled precision SMGs, which are very good for surge training. And Queazy is doing the exact same thing. He's got the OXR and he drops the DMR for the Stinger SMG, but he's performing his look path as well and going for everything that he needs to get. So once they completed the objective at the POI, they go to the tallest pillar, or at least Queazy does, and what he does is he just bends down up above on height against the queen, and the queen can't actually go and get to him. So the other 2 players, Swizzy and Merstach, are able to go and perform the water pass further. Now, after they've done surge training, they're going to fizz pad, which is going to send them 225 meters into the air. And what they're going to do is they're going to go for the bunker, which is southwest of the hive. Now what this does is that this is going to give them usually the exotic fizz, at least in this game it does. And so they mark where they're going to go to then to land, which is southeast, and rotate over to the bunker, farming any mats that they need to do, because we can't see how many mats they have, but they definitely need some mats. As you can see, Queazy was farming some brick there, and he's going to go and farm metal as the bunker has been opened, because Swizzy right here opens the bunker since he had the A rank from killing the queen, and Queazy is farming this metal object because it gives the best metal, and leaving Merstach to be able to go and do the rest. In fact, no, it was Swizzy. No, it was Merstach. But then from here, because they're low in health, they all come up to the top. Queazy IGL is called here, and they all get the slip barrels here, and then they break these ones as well. Now from here, they're quite far into zone, so they're going to fizz pad rotate, and then they're just going to bunny hop their way all the way over and repeat this process until they are into circle. So I'll speed this up. Now I'm not sure if this was part of the game plan, but this did help them with winning the 3rd game, which is the one which we're breaking down here. They actually go for the other bunker which opens, which just so happens to be the one which is south of Dystopia City. And from here they now are able to get 2 of the exotics, which are very powerful, and this allows them basically to have more overpowered loot than they already had, considering that the hive is the best POI. But from here they're both able to take an exotic. Now because of the surge training, they are 1641 damage above, but right here Queazy's made the call to rotate all the way over here after doing some code scouting, which is the best way of looking for rotates in this game. Now this is the best team when it comes to end games to watch. So Merstach is looking for any tags he can get with the Wrecker Revolver, and as you can see, Acre, Aegis and Poyo all go over, and Merstach is actually able to go and kill Aegis. Now from here, they end up deciding to make the call to rotate. So they fizz pad rotate all the way to the opposite side of the zone, and then from there they're going to go and take height, and Merstach is looking back to get any tags he can and just shoot people out of the air. Now from here they're still looking back, and that's all they're doing. They see Ritual and they get Ritual really low, but now they've looked back and they've seen Aegis, but they don't see anyone else back, so they're going to end up going and looking just a bit closer to them. But then eventually what's end up going to happen is that Fedox's team is going to end up trying to contest height very soon, but they don't realise just yet because they're not looking. And what ends up happening is that they rotate further a bit. Now we're going to change here all the way to Queazy's perspective, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. And from here, he's basically just tarping up all the way, and he's starting to run out of mats, so soon his mats are going to be given extra. But he can connect height using this conveniently placed antenna thing. I forgot the name of it, still haven't been checked since the last video. But they're still doing well, but then this is then what ends up happening. So they're looking back again, and so Queazy gets more mats, and when we're looking at Swizzy, Fedoxy's team ends up coming up. So you look back just in time, and Fedoxy actually gets knocked, and from here Merstach has been given stop just by Queazy. No, Swizzy, sorry. Now looking at Merstach's perspective, he gets away with that a lot, but he does get the kill onto Fedoxy, and then he does receive the structures here, which he then pops. Now, from Queazy's perspective, he's doing the same thing again, just topping, looking back, then they end up coming. So Queazy ends up getting the first onto Fedoxy, and then from there it's just offensive and keeping height over them. Now, looking at a different game here, so they're looking back, and they do this every game. So behind all these games, they did win a hot from one, which I'm going to be showing at some point throughout this, but I'll let you know. But there's something which I am going to show, which is really important and something very good, but it is something important to learn. Now, again, they're looking back, and they're carrying revolvers because it is the best gun to be using for shooting people out the sky, because you effectively have something which has the same range of a revolver, but because it's a shotgun reticle and the kind of bullet spread that it is, it's perfect for shooting people out the sky, because you need to be dead accurate using an AR, SMG or any other gun. With the revolver, you don't need to be as accurate. You get a kill here, and so they're just gonna look to elevate a few layers, and they're just looking back on players who are in low priority zone areas, which are just players who are further away than everyone else in the zone. And so from here, that's all they're doing. They look back and they keep this going for a while, and they're going to elevate a few layers here while looking back. They'll drop down a bit, but then eventually they get chopped out, so you're going to have to rebuild height here, and they're just looking over, and you can use the hammer AR as well. And you can see Canada here, and Canada's just going to end up getting caught by height, and he's not going to be allowed to rotate, and Merstach just ended up getting the kill onto Canada. And then what they're going to do is they're going to go and rotate right here, so they're going to fizz pad. Well, Merstach doesn't get the fizz, Swizzy does. And then from here it's the same thing which they did again, and they just do this for the entire game. And because it's trios and everyone's fighting on lower grounds, it's impossible for people to look up and shoot back at them, which just gives them the ability to win the game since they're uncontested for height. Now, one player, I don't mean one trio, I mean one player, ends up deciding to contest this team for height, and that player is Vanyak. And a general rule of thumb is don't do that, because they're killed instantly, as you can see. There ends up that there's very few players left, and Merstach gets a big tag onto chat, and from there it's the same thing which you do over and over until the time's right, until there's one team left. They're just going to be looking down on all the players and just getting any kills or any tags that they can see. Now there's enough players left, so they all drop down and they all focus one trio at a time. In fact, it's the only trio, I think. So Havoc, Pix, Demus and Darm are the unfortunate victims that end up going second. iDrop goes down, and then Pix and Demus are getting pressured, and from there Merstach does get knocked, but they only focused on Merstach, so the other two players, Queazy and Swizzy, end up winning the game. And this is something they do all the time. Seti in zone, so Queazy's going to drop down, and he's going to just stay on height, and they're just looking at anyone in zone, anyone that they can kill, and they do get a kill. And this is something they all do. Swizzy drops down, and this is a masterclass in fragging. He gets Aegis down, he ends up killing Aegis, and he's able to get Yabko here. Yabko trying, but can't get out of zone. Then Swizzy. Now, this is something he probably could have done a lot better there. He could have stayed to the left of the box and not to the right, but he doesn't, and he doesn't get the kill. But he ends up chopping Vanyak out, who somehow thinks that he's still allowed height, and he finds out that he's not, and they win the game. Now, when you're playing at the highest level, you've got to have good awareness, and some players don't. and so this is countered very easily by Merstach, Queazy and Swizzy, and so they get tagged on players and kills onto players who aren't paying attention. Now this right here, this is one of the best things I've seen. So they're in zone, so they're negating zone because Queazy is using the exotic fizz, which heals your white health. So this means that he can fizz pad into zone while negating zone, and Merstach also gets siphoned, so he is able to just completely negate zone altogether. Now they don't end up winning this game, and they'll soon go down after this, but it's very good how they're able to just negate zone altogether, and as you can see, Merstach goes down. So that's how Swizzy, Queazy and Merstach won globals. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.